The pre-show show. Before the show, this is what we do. Jackie.
What?
You're breathing heavy. That was like crazy breathing. We didn't even start the show.
Well,
I'm going to start the show. I don't want to hear. Start the music. Go.
No.
All right, that's the start of the show. This is Howie Mandel Does Stuff. I'm Howie Mandel. My co-host is The Breather.
Jacqueline Schultz.
Why were you breathing like that?
Can I explain why I was breathing like that? Wait, can you see me?
Well, because we don't function without oxygen. I understand that.
No,
you're wearing
because
a mask. You have a cold.
I have a cold, so I can't really breathe through my nose. Plus, I'm wearing a mask, so I'm a heavy breather right now. Do you want me to wear the mask even though I'm outside the room?
I want you to wear a mask. I want you to wear a mask suit. I want you to be outside the building. I want you to stop breathing. We have a big guest today. You know that.
Wait,
He's here
can
right
I
now.
scoot up?
Oh, Lou? Are you saying Lou? That's Lou Dinos. People have been writing, Lou. They love you.
They do. They really do.
Except Caroline here, who
Right.
writes.
Oh, there's a good look at that one.
Screw
Lou is unfunny. Lives to kiss Howie's ass and ruins guest interviews.
Oh, look who's here.
Mission accomplished.
No, talk about great interviews. I love this guy. I think the world loves this guy. Bill Burr is in the room.
What's going on?
Look at that. You got an applause.
How are you?
Great.
This is it? You just walk in, you're going?
Well, you don't do that?
No, I don't know. Dude, that coat is ridiculous.
What's wrong with my coat?
It's amazing.
Oh, you like it?
I love it.
Ridiculous, like.
Yeah, that's what the kids say.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Why-
it's opposite world.
Yeah, that's really bad. I remember bad when
yeah.
bad was good.
Yeah, it's
So now
it's still
ridiculous is.
I should have said amazing. I didn't want to start off like this with confusion and non-communicating here.
No, you communicate.
Your coat
Howie?
is lit.
That's my
Oh, there you
daughter
go.
says lit.
Howie, I love your coat. I think it is wonderful.
Do you want it?
Huh?
Do you want it?
What size are you?
This is a medium.
I'll take it.
Really?
See, you weren't expecting that. I just want to see that look on your face.
Are you really going to take it? You could
Absolutely,
take
I'm
it.
going to take it.
You could take
And then
it.
the next time I see you at a comedy club, I'm going to ghost you while wearing the coat. I'm not going to say shit to you.
Wearing my coat. Wow. See the plans just. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Burr is in the room. Bill Burr is a legend. You are. I talked to you. I saw you. You're constantly working, and I saw you at a club, and I
think it was a parking lot. It's COVID. You were outside.
It was.
Yes.
It's the Nova?
Supernova.
Supernova, not just Nova. Supernova. It's like locks.
Bigger and better.
Hi, I'm Bill, by the way.
Hey, Bill.
How are you?
Nice to meet you.
You
Nice
say
to
your
meet you
name,
too.
Lou.
Huh?
He
Oh,
said,
my name's
"I'm
Lou."
Bill."
Oh.
You don't say your name.
What a head of hair on this guy, huh?
I
God,
know.
it's amazing.
That's why I have people say, "Did you lose your hair?" I say, "No."
I tapped out.
When I say I lose my hair, it's L-O-U-S, my hair. Anyway, that's Lou. He's actually a very funny comic who
as
I've
are
known for 40 years. But you're more than just an amazing comic. He's an amazing actor.
Right.
Yes. And you said you really fooled me. I was talking about the Staten Island, the King of Staten Island, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I said you were amazing in that movie. And did you see the movie, Lou?
I have not seen it yet, but I have seen.
I will describe it as if you saw it. No, but he was amazing. He was so likable and real and like just and you said you didn't that you were scared. You weren't. I would think watching.
Oh, I
that
had a
performance-
meltdown right before I went in there. Right before I went in there, I had a complete meltdown. I always have a meltdown. I don't want to do this. This is too big. These people are all better than I am. Why am I here? This is stupid. I just want to do my jokes, be in the middle of nowhere, and go sit on a porch by myself.
Did you have that meltdown just before you walked into this podcast?
It wasn't until I saw the strip mall I was going into. I was just like, I'm better than this. I need a new agent. No. No, I have, but I'm able to just sort of have it. And then, my wife calms me down. And then how do I get out of it? It's like, I don't want to put my wife through this, being the guy threatening to jump for the next 3 months. And she has, no, people like you. It's exhausting for the other person.
Talk to my wife, who
So
is happy to not be here today because
You
of that.
did something else though, besides something.
You got to talking to the mic, Lou.
Oh, you did something else. Besides this, which
He's done 2 other projects.
what are
in
the
his career.
what is, no, you did another show that was on TV.
Well, he's got a bunch of shows. You know that he had the very first Netflix special that any comic ever had?
No, I didn't.
No,
know
I
that.
didn't.
I think
There
you
was
did.
others. There were others.
You
didn't matter.
know that's written though. That's written that you did the first Netflix or before.
Or maybe I did the first one that they actually that they
Acquired?
did just yeah. Like I
that
don't
they
know. I don't
acquired.
know what the business.
You were the first one that they bought. He
Yes.
He had the first animated show ever on Netflix,
What was
which
that
still
one?
goes. It's still on.
Which one is that?
Thanks to guys like you doing Bobby.
You're
and
really
everybody
giving me
before.
credit. It has nothing to do with
Well,
me.
no,
That's
comedians.
just for family, right?
Yeah,
F is for family.
F is for family, which, by the way, I must say, if I can just say this regarding F with
Use the mic, Lou.
the music, the opening music of F is for family, just brings you right back to that moment, man. It's just really, really good. And I thought it was terrifically funny
Oh, thank
and
you.
hilarious. And I enjoyed every second of F with his family. And
He went from not knowing what the fuck he did to
that's where he looked familiar. He looked familiar to me from F with his family.
He heard
Before
the
we get
voice. He heard the voice.
cartoon.
Maybe.
is that what?
Yeah,
it
but
is?
that's like Mike Price from The Simpsons is the showrunner. He's the captain over there guiding the ship, and I could never have done it without him. And we had
It's
amazing.
like 5 years, right? Still.
Yeah, well, 5 seasons, but animation. It took like I don't know, 7, 8 years.
Why did you choose to go animation versus live action?
Because I was sick of people when I first told my growing up stories. The crowd used to laugh. I started in '92.
Right.
So everybody sort of grew up in the 70s and 80s if you were younger or whatever. No, actually 60s and 70s at that point. Then it became 70s and 80s. And then once it became like 80s and 90s, they started becoming like groans. And by like 2010, like I kind of just gave up. Like it was like, everything was abuse and all of this stuff rather than like this shared experience of how crazy your parents were. So I just kind of thinking, the hell with it. I'm not telling them anymore. And then I just thought, well, what if I turn them into these animated shorts? Because I was looking at South Park and stuff like that and Family Guy and all of that. And they were able to still exist in that world that I remembered. And, I was going to put them up my website, but of course I never did it. And then just one day I was working with Steve Byrne, and Steve was friends with Vince Vaughn. We got to talking afterwards, and then Wild West Productions ended up liking the idea, like, hey, you should make that into a show. And then Vince
The
went
rest
along.
is history.
Yeah, and Vince went along with the pitches because I don't think they would have given it to me because no one really knew who I was, and I didn't want to do like a sitcom, which seemed to be like the move. I wanted to do an animated show, and they were just looking at like, what the hell's this guy talking about? But then Vince Vaughn was sitting next to me. And they're like, well, that's Vince Vaughn. Let's do. Vince was the guy that put it over
Put
the
it
top.
over the top. You
Yeah.
always got to package it.
I loved
heard-
it. I really loved it. And how did you come up with the theme? I mean, how did you sift through a lot of music to come up with that song, or because it's perfect? It's just perfect.
That probably means I wasn't involved in the decision because
Yeah,
I
he
also
likes
I also
music.
didn't come up with F is for Family. I remember Mike telling me like because we were trying to come up, we were like American Family. And we're like, oh, there's already a show like that. I just remember one day Mike came in and he said, yeah, we're gonna call it F is for Family, and I was just like, I like that, but I was not part of that. Whoever came up with
I'm
that.
not crazy about the title, but the music.
I also heard that the final season is in
No, it's
November.
great
So
show.
is there?
And thank you for putting it on.
He's not wearing headphones on. You can't hear
No,
me
Lou
at all.
doesn't have headphones.
No.
So he
Yeah,
can't
there's
hear.
somebody else talking right now.
That's my daughter, by the way. This is my daughter. I put her in the other room
No,
because
I'm
she has
here.
a
I'm
cold.
behind you. I have
hey.
a cold,
She has
so
a
he
cold,
kicked me
so
out.
I put her there in a mask. You want to know something, Bill? You have a connection. So your wife and her had play dates.
Is that? Oh, my wife wanted to say hello. Like I literally said, she goes, "Where you
Wait,
going?"
is that true?
Yes. Do you remember Nia, Ben Hill's daughter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You went swimming with her?
Yeah. Ben
That's who
Hill.
he's married to.
Oh, tell her I say hi. It's been a while.
So this is my daughter. So Nia, who
Ben Hill,
my manager.
the Ben Hill that I've known for many years.
Yes. His
my
daughter is his wife.
Yeah.
God bless.
And the mother of his children. They have 2 beautiful
Say
children.
hello to Ben Hill for me.
That's his
I
father-in-law.
will. I
Can I tell
text
you a
him.
quick Ben Hill story?
I'll tell him Lou without the headphones said hello.
Can I tell you?
But Ben doesn't have headphones either, so he won't hear.
Can I tell you a quick Ben Hill story? When I was on the road with you and Ben was on the road with us.
Yeah.
We were on a plane.
Yeah.
And it was I think it was a Sunday, so they had all the Sunday newspapers. And Ben read the newspaper. Ben read the newspaper.
Yeah, the
And
R
they
is silent.
They had all the Sunday newspapers on the seats. They had all the Sunday newspapers on the seats. And I took them all and piled it on top of his New York Times. was this thick. And he's walking out with all the Sunday newspapers, not realizing, thank you, not realizing that he was holding every newspaper on the plane. And it was just a funny sight to see.
Was it worth a retelling like two
No,
decades
not
later?
really. Not when you have Bill Burr here.
But I'm sure,
I was rooting for that story.
yeah. But I'm sure when you go home and you call your father-in-law and you remember the newspaper story, I'm sure he's gonna laugh.
I love Ben Hill.
I love Ben Hill. And Nia, by the way, not only is Ben Hill's daughter, Nia was a casting or talent person, I think at either Comedy Central or MTV. She
She worked at MTV. She worked on Chappelle's show. She worked on Tough Crowd. She
Is that where you met her, at Chappelle's show?
No. First time I met her, I was doing Showtime at the Apollo. But I had black friends, and they kept telling me that those rooms were harder, and I wanted to shut them up. Because they kept going, you can kill in these rooms, but the black rooms, those are the tough rooms. So it's just like, all right, I'll go play those rooms. And then you guys can all just shut up because I'm sick of listening. What I learned in those rooms is how easy black guys have it in white rooms. Because you get to play the fish out of water, which is the easiest thing. So what happens is you go up there as the white person on the black show, the hardest laugh is the first laugh. And once you get the first laugh, you become like the mascot. Like, oh, isn't this cute? This white person is making us laugh. And then all your perspectives are so different and new. And then all the other black comics got to like flip over the chair and do all this shit. And people just looking at him like, seen it, heard it, whatever. So I always felt like...
Were you terrified going on stage there?
Yeah. My whole business, my whole career has just been getting over one terror after. I used to have to walk around the block to get myself to have the balls to go in there. And I chickened out. It was a talent show who did with Will Sylvince, the Sunday night show at the Boston Comedy Club, which I got to tell you, there should be a movie made about that night. That night was in that crowd. I've never heard laughs like that. I've never felt the feeling like when you got off that stage, if you killed, you were asking yourself, why the hell aren't I the biggest person in this business? But when you bombed, you were like, why did I ever move out of my parents' house? I never, it was one or the other. And I met all of these amazing comics down there and everything.
Who worked those rooms with you? Who are the comics of that time?
Well, there was the New York Kings. It was Capone, there was Drew Frazier, Rob Stapleton, and Talent. And they were sort of the guys that had all of these rooms. And they would book me. Oh, and Gerald Kelly had rooms. Donnell Rawlings had rooms.
Gerald Kelly just did AGT this year with his son.
Yes. Yeah. So all of those guys had these rooms, and I would go out and do, get on the E and take it to the end out to like Jamaica, Queens. And I would get out there, and everyone would be looking at me like I was an undercover cop. I had the red hair back then, so I kind of looked like I was right off of... whatever the hell that show was, where the guys always showed their asses.
CSI.
What the hell was that show?
Oh, that Michael guy that lowered his glasses.
What was it? But he left the other show.
Caruso.
Yeah, David Caruso. But what was his first show?
It was called David Caruso's first show.
Okay, David Caruso's first show.
Was he on Law and Order? What was he?
It had Blue NYPD Blue. NYPD Dead. So I kind of I look
with
like
David France or something France.
It's better when you have the reference. It keeps the comedy going.
Lou is here for reference.
So so then I would go and I would do these shows, and most of them were cool, but some of them you'd literally be walking into some bar and there'd be like a metal detector. Wow. And like stuff.
Do you remember the joke that got the...
Smokey was another guy. He had a great room up in Harlem. I remember I did this room, one of the funniest guys ever.
I don't know him. Smokey is his
name? Yeah, it's because this industry, like they don't look hard enough. This guy, he used to do
Where are these guys today?
They're all still working. He just did something. He was just out here in L.A. Smokey was. I follow him on Instagram. But he used to do a bit about a crackhead trying to steal a bird out of a pet store and then getting caught and then screaming, I walked in with it. Like I came in with this bird. He used to put the microphone underneath this thing and it sounded just like a bird. And the way he did it, so indignant. Like, how dare you say that I would steal? Like, I remember when he would host the show, like praying he didn't do that bit right before I went up because I had nothing that could follow that.
So did your career start in Boston or New York?
It started in Boston, and then I went down to New York.
Yeah, one of my favorite comics of all time came out of Boston. Stephen Wright.
Oh, yeah.
You know Stephen?
Oh, yeah. Stephen Wright has one of my favorite jokes of all time.
What is that?
I can't do it justice, buddy. He goes, a friend of mine's kid has HD ADD. He goes, that's right, high definition attention deficit disorder. it's really difficult for his kid to pay attention. But when he does, it's incredible. It's so good. And just the way he does it, he brings his voice down. He goes, it's incredible.
I love your tone. You're like the opposite. You got this anger. You have this.
I hate that about myself. I'm trying to get rid of it. But yeah,
really?
I do.
Bold. You're
That's
bold.
got you to this. You want to get rid of that?
I know I'm like the fat guy who's going to get skinny and then I don't work anymore.
Right.
You're
Really
bold.
trying to. Are you an angry guy?
I have anger issues. I don't walk around like that. Like where I am right now, this is how I walk around. But the thing about it is I can ramp up. I can go from this to through the ceiling. Not as much anymore because, I've gotten into therapy. I took mushrooms,
Through your therapist? Was
No.
that recommended? Have you taken a mushroom and gone
No,
to
they
therapy?
do that. They do that now. They do
Yeah.
microdosing for mushrooms for different.
That's my kid.
Yeah.
It's the over the shoulder.
Yes. But
No, but that's a real thing that they do now for therapy.
Yeah, I saw this thing. A buddy of mine had me watch it after I took it. After I took him, it was, I forget what the hell it was called, but it was like over in Israel. They use it for PTSD, and they had like 3 people. One person, there was a terrorist attack, and they blew up a bus, and he came walking up and just saw all the carnage. So somebody else got molested, somebody else got kidnapped, this woman. So they all they just showed this whole thing where they were taking it. It was sort of a guided thing, so you weren't just like freaking out. And they were claiming
they took mushrooms and then showed these images to people who are on mushrooms.
No. These people had gone through this stuff.
So to relieve them of their trauma.
Yes, and they allegedly they were claiming they had like an 80% success rate at treating PTSD. So, I don't know. I don't know anything about it. I know I just took
What did it do for you?
It woke me up. I feel like I got a piece of one fucking lint or something in my mouth.
That's something. I saw it fly off of Lou.
Okay. Off of Lou's lion's mane.
He's loving your hair.
I love it. Come on, dude. You got the Hasselhoff going off there.
Well, my mother always said that my hair is growing because I wash it too often. She thought water in the hair made the
Like
hair.
plants.
Yeah, because that's what she understood.
Well, I
My
want to
mother
eat
was
whatever
a
water you
peasant
have.
woman.
I need it.
All right.
No, I had like, I was giggling and, shit looked like it was breathing that shouldn't be breathing, you know what I mean? And then all of a sudden I just felt like this profound sense of loneliness and not feeling loved. And that's what I ended up having to figure out, like, what is this? What is this thing? So I didn't have a good trip, but my buddy said, dude, you don't get the trip you want, you get the trip you need. And it was kind of like clear as day that, okay, I need to figure out why I feel like this. And I immediately knew who I was. Lou, please let me finish this. This is an amazing part of the story. Please don't slow it down with your Sunday newspaper story again. I ended up, I knew exactly who I was after it. I knew every good thing, every bad thing. I finally understood who I was.
Is that good?
And it is good.
Because they say ignorance is bliss, and that sounds like you're just too aware.
No, it was great. It was bliss for 10 days. And then after 10 days, the reality of everything that happened to you still happened. So then you got to kind of work your way through that. But
It sounds, your description sounds horrible, to be honest with you. Like, I haven't.
you know how I came in here, I complimented your jacket. I bowed down to the king, and then, I'm trying to, tell you a story here, and you're just like,
I wasn't.
It's
I wasn't
you know what it is?
commenting on your story.
no, you know what it is?
What
You're
is
letting your own issues. See,
I have a
which
lot of
you-
issues.
Yeah.
But I'm afraid to, and people have suggested microdosing, and that's why I'm asking.
I
you
know
about-
this about you too, because I know you're a big proponent of therapy and you go to therapy, but you are not a fan about talking when it comes to talking about your issues because you don't want to think about it, right? Like you'd rather have it be ignorance is bliss kind of thing. No,
No, I know you're right. I can tell by the look on his face.
It is true. No,
my
I'm
thing
not
is
saying.
my big thing is distraction, rather than thinking about the things.
Right, but
what I'm
sometimes-
saying is,
Okay.
As if you can distract away from that, yes.
Okay, whatever.
no, but I'm talking about the what your description of. I took this microdose. It's supposed to open you up, and you're supposed to.
No, it wasn't microdose. I think people use that to stave off like depression or something. I don't know what the hell they take it for. I took it one time, and I just wanted to just get into tripping, which I did. I
You had a
wasn't
full-on trip.
I wasn't seeing like dragons and shit.
No, you were seeing shit breathing, and you realized that nobody loves you. That's what you told me.
No, I realized that
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 you felt unloved.
wasn't even felt. It just was. I can't even explain it.
And I'm not talking about the story. I'm talking. This is really interesting.
Right.
I'm trying to break down why you think this is an advantage to
Because
be
how I
aware of
felt
that
the
way.
next day. I felt clear the next day.
Clear that nobody loves you.
No, it's just that this is. I was basically how I felt growing up, and what I carried with me, and then I just realized everything that I was doing, how much I was pushing away, how all the bits I've done about women and all of this shit. Like I understood why I went at it the way I went at it. I understood my issues. I don't want to get in all of it.
But why is that important, though? Why is it important to understand where your comedy is coming from when it's hilarious to begin with? Why?
No, I wasn't talking about comedy. I'm just talking about who I am.
Okay.
But why? I guess the question kind of similarly.
Because then if you find out who you are and
Right.
why, and then like especially me, if you have like a temper, that's hard for people around you.
do you not find that your temper is a good fuel for your comedy?
On stage. On stage,
And
that's
don't
great.
you find that stage?
Listen,
is
if you
very
walked around
therapeutic?
with the big glove on your head around your house, I mean, how long would be there before like dad? Can you just be dad? You know what I mean? It's like you have to I thought through the way I grew up that if I wasn't yelling at people, then I wasn't as bad as some of the shit I saw growing up. But I just
Did
realized,
you grow up in a rough upbringing?
I grew up in a rough time. Like everybody, just in general, like it was, there was no therapy. I think there was like one
Right.
book,
Well, you're
How to
younger than
Win
me, but-
Friends, How to Win Friends and Influence People. I think was the only thing. There was no Dr. Phil. There was no nothing. So you had all these men who were supposed to be like the John Wayne prototype, and they were just white knuckling their way through stuff. So there was everything from just silent rage to rage. And then all of a sudden, and then flipping on a dime and being like, "Hey, how was school?" After stuff like that happened. So I just,
Are you close with your family now?
yeah, everything's cool. Everything's cool. It's just like, your job when you become a parent is to try to make it a little better.
Break the cycle.
Well, keep what worked, and then,
Do you have siblings?
yeah.
I don't know anything about you. You have siblings? What do you have? Brothers?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't try to put too much of that
Doesn't
out
know.
there because there's too many weirdos out there. But yeah, I
Okay,
was
I won't-
not
I
an
won't talk
only
about it.
child, but yeah,
You're the only one in show business?
technically.
Somebody that doesn't want to talk about
isn't
it?
it all? I mean, it's all the same thing. It's all, meetings and shit like that. Like when I listen to some of my siblings talk about their jobs, first of all, their jobs are way more interesting and their stories are incredible, but it's just like, being in sales, I mean, is really the same.
same.
It's the same. It's all the same thing. And then if you work for yourself and you have a business and you have to have clients and, wine and dine them or whatever the hell you do nowadays is the same thing as schmoozing. It's all the same. It's all the same stuff.
I was just doing some research on stuff that you and I have a similar. I was a forklift driver in a warehouse.
I never got to drive the forklift.
Were you
said-
really?
I only
Yeah.
got
I
to do
didn't know
the
that.
pallet jack.
Oh,
Yeah. Well, we were a growing company. By the time the forklift came along, I was already doing stand-up. And I was really bummed that I never
well,
got
I
to
read
do
a
that.
quote that you said that when you were getting yelled at, you can just get on the forklift and drive away.
Oh, drive away. Okay. Well, you embellish things.
So you called the what's that thing that
Well,
you said?
pallet jack. Nobody knows what a
Pallet-
pallet jack is. I used to
don't know
get
what a
on it,
pallet
and
jack-
you would ride it away like a skateboard.
A pallet jack.
Yeah, it's a thing you'd slide in. And the pallet jack was for a company that wasn't big enough to have a forklift. We were a growing company. Then you'd flip it down, you pump it up. So what I would really do is ride away on a pallet jack, which
Well-
is not as funny as drive away in a forklift because everybody knows what a forklift is.
Well, I was a forklift driver at an ice cream store.
That sounds awesome, except it smells bad. Cold dairy.
Propane.
Cold dairy, if you're all in that, because I used to work at this place called Cumberland Farms. I used to work at their main, there was like a 7-Eleven chain that got buried by the 7-Elevens and Circle K's, but I used to work in their main building out in the warehouse area, and unfortunately I was more in the file area, but every once in a while I went to the other building that had all like the dairy and all the meats and shit, and you would
Right.
walk in there, it smelled horrible.
Frozen dairy smells
It
bad?
just, there was
Not
some.
ice cream.
There was there was just something about it. I don't know. I'm not going to try to sell this to you guys, but I promise you it didn't smell good.
Well-
It wasn't like it was that was going bad. It was just something, whatever chemical they had to were using.
Do you think you're overly lactose intolerant, and that's why this bothered you more than the average person?
No, but I got to be honest. Of all the things that I thought was going to get debated, I didn't think it was going to be that.
You want to debate? Do you like debating? Do you debate? Are you a fighter? I am. I'm an arguer. I argue with everybody. My wife hates
sucks.
that.
I
It
used to
sucks.
do that. Now I just go like, you know what's fun to do with something like that? Be like, oh yeah, okay, I see that. Yeah, you're right. And you just tap out, and they get annoyed. Like
I would get annoyed.
Like they wanted to work up a sweat. Like it's how they burn calories.
I do. I argue I never was on a debate team or anything, but now my life is a debate. I always want to hear
used
the other.
to like sports. Sports, you can still get me. There's certain topics, but I just
You baseball fan?
Yeah, I you know, then the kids are so little. I'm missing out on a lot of stuff. But yeah, I am.
Is that your sport?
No,
would think-
football and hockey.
Hockey.
too.
Because of the Patriots.
Patriots and Bruins. Yeah. Well, I mean, not because of Tom Brady. I was a fan before when they had Paul Revere on the side, and they would go 2-14 or 5-11 every other year.
I saw Bobby Orr play.
You did?
Yeah.
Where?
In the Maple Leaf Gardens in Toronto.
We're both from Toronto.
Do you know I took a tour of that place?
Maple Leaf Gardens?
Yeah, I took a tour of it
It's
before.
an arena.
Huh?
It's an arena. You just walk around in a circle. It looks the same no matter where you face.
it's gorgeous.
Who takes a tour of an arena?
How we played Maple Leaf Gardens.
Because you got to understand, when I watched those games, I just wanted to see like that one side. With for some reason, the fans were all above the boards on one side, and it just seemed like such a quirky place. And it was one of the original 6 arenas.
right.
You guys had already stopped playing there and had the Molson Center or wherever you guys play. So I wanted to take a tour of it before they turned it into like a Home Depot or something. And the stories, we got to go in the locker room, learned that it was Wayne Gretzky's favorite place to play, that the owner tried to put as many seats as he could just so he could make as much money. So there was literally a seat that you could sit on, and the bench was like right there, and there was nothing blocking you.
So you're on the bench.
No, but
with the players.
you're sitting next to them, and you could listen to them yelling and saying all that. I was thinking of bringing your kid to the game, and they're saying all this crazy stuff. And no, that was one of the things. That's how I got through doing the road, because it's depressing to be out there by yourself. Was I just tried to go to a home game of every professional team in all 4 sports.
One of the best times I ever had was I went to Fenway Park, which is one of the classic.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, that's amazing. The big green monster.
Green
is that-
monster,
The
yep.
green monster. Yes.
Yep.
In fact, on Deal or No Deal, Lindsay Cubine, number 26, married the pitcher. What's his name?
Phil?
No, he was the pitcher. She married.
John Lester.
No,
How long ago?
He's out of the game now. But he was the pitcher. He
Calvin
threw,
Schiraldi.
He threw a no-hitter in his rookie year.
Oil Can Boyd.
No,
Bill Campbell.
no,
Rick Wise.
no,
Louis Tion.
no,
Bob Stanley.
no.
Mike
It's not
Torres.
No.
Tees now. On the tees.
Schilling. Kurt
Somebody
Schilling?
Google Lindsay Cubine's.
Pedro Martinez.
Wayne Gretzky or Bobby Orr? Bill.
There you go, Lindsay Cubine.
Wayne Gretzky or Bobby Orr?
Who's
That's
better.
who is better.
Gretzky.
I never saw Bobby
Bobby
Orr
Orr.
play.
Bobby Orr changed the game.
Husband.
I heard from what
Pitcher Buchholz. You know
Clay-
that name?
Clay
Buchholz. Yeah, Clay Buchholz. Okay, yeah,
That's so he invited us to the game. We went and saw the game and watched him.
that's awesome.
Yeah.
And you got to hold the Stanley Cup once, right?
Yeah, the
No.
Stanley Cup was in my house.
Oh, you did. Oh, yeah, I never.
I did.
Yeah.
I never touched it. I wouldn't.
I never. I wouldn't touch it because I didn't play. And I just felt like I don't deserve to do
How
that.
did that happen?
Because I was the voice of the for NBC was doing the Stanley Cup games, so they came to my house. But I didn't want to touch it because people piss in it, and puke in it, and, don't they?
There's stories.
They
Yeah,
do all
strippers
sorts of
sit in it and they bend it and then they got to bend
they
it
brought
back.
it to my house. The guy's wearing gloves. You think he's wearing gloves because they don't want to damage the cup? No, they're wearing gloves because of all the shit that has been in the cup that they don't want to get on their hands.
But it's a tradition, historic tradition, that the winning team, each player gets to have the cup for a day or two, and they can do whatever they want with it, and then they pass it on to the next player. It's part
Yeah,
of the.
and it's gotten lost.
no, it really got lost.
Oh yeah, people
They
have
get drunk
lost-
and leave it in
yeah.
a bar. Somebody steals it.
There's a hockey player right now. Do you follow hockey now? I can't.
Yeah, one of
remember
my
who it-
favorite pictures ever with the cup was when Ovechkin was passed out and he had his arm around it. After all those years waiting, I was just like, that's awesome.
In sports now, they just I think there's a hockey player that a big name right now that didn't take the he won't take the shot. So
Oh.
Okay.
So he's out of the game and he's losing millions of dollars, like Kyrie Irving, right? In basketball.
I'm not following it now.
Right, do you have your shots?
You should have asked me that before I came in here. Yeah, I'm a non-vaxxer.
Are you?
No, I'm kidding. No, I got him.
We have non-vaxxers here.
Yeah.
Actually, one of them is your biggest fan.
Yeah. At this point, I don't care whether somebody does or not. I just stay 6 feet away and I wear my mask. And if people want to do what they're going to do, I just don't care.
Right. You don't care.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
will you get your kids? Would you get your kids back?
The wasted energy of caring about someone who doesn't care is just stupid. So it's just like, you don't care, then I don't care. But I don't want to hear about it, and I don't want to hear your theories as your WebMD horseshit about it. I don't want to hear that. So
everybody's an expert now.
Yeah.
Well, my favorite thing was somebody goes, yeah, I'm unvaxxed, I'm vaxxed. It's like, we're all vaccinated. You're just saying no to this one. And we're all alive, and there's 7 billion people on this fucking planet, which is is obviously not a good thing, because of vaccinations, and all plagues stop.
That's a theory.
Because
there's so many people on the planet that they're trying to get rid of some of us.
Yeah.
I know. My thing is like, so why would they get rid of the obedient ones?
I have a list.
They want to get rid of the rebels, the ones who aren't going to listen. So you're going to get rid of all of us sheeple. So you can have these fucking assholes that are going to question everything, Do you
believe in any conspiracies?
Absolutely. I love conspiracies. Everything is a conspiracy. And people go, there's no conspiracy. Every time you would go out, you'd conspire with your friends where you can go to get served, which had the hottest chicks that maybe you were going to get lucky. You as a group always do that. This business, the way business works is conspiracies.
So you believe
to come to like.
Yeah, somebody told me that's my daughter.
No, I don't mean like ridiculous, because that's the thing about conspiracy theory is then you think the moon's made out of cheese and you have a tinfoil hat on. Like, I don't think it's a conspiracy that corporations and banks dictate our foreign policy. I don't. I also don't think, that, when you do look at the FDA or something like that, and people who used to work in big pharmaceuticals suddenly work for them and then maybe getting side money to approve stuff, that's not conspiracy. That's the dirty, filthy, shitty ways that sociopaths operate. So I'm not 100% against that and conspiracy theory. But the reason why I rationalized the vaccine was because I know that these Illuminati people don't want to have to dig their own ditches. So they need us to be running on the wheel. And if they were going to try to eliminate a bunch of people, which they're probably going to have to do, the rate we're going, Right. 130-degree days now it was like in 4 or 5 cities. That never happened. That's literally too hot to even go outside. And I was at the gym and I'm watching the weatherman talking about the weather. He's literally describing the beginning of our ability to live on this planet with a big smile on his face, and no one's saying, "Hey, maybe you don't need 50 flat screens TVs in your house." See, look, yeah, I am into it. I am into it a little bit.
That's fantastic. You ever considered having your own kid show? You should have a
I get
show.
it. He's doing the avoiding thing. I freaked you out a little bit. So
no, you did. I'm telling you that I'm freaked out by what's happening.
You believe people essentially are in cahoots. So I'm saying.
No, I believe that there's since the beginning of time, there's people that want to try and run as much as they can run. One of the things that I think should be illegal is making stuff like designed obsolescence. That's how you say the word. That is designed to break after a little while, so you then have to buy a new thing, especially if it's made out of plastic. Sure. And now we're learning.
No, that's what we did with the car industry.
Yeah, and it goes out in the ocean. It's going to stay there for 800 to 1,000 years after. Every time you order food or something, the stupid plastic thing that you had a burger in. So you could get a burger because you didn't want to go down the street. You didn't have to hunt for it or anything. It's totally for your convenience. And then they take that thing and it ends up in the ocean for 1,000 fucking years.
So they're cahooting. You're thinking people are cahooting.
No, but why would they? What's the answer to that?
What's the answer to that? There is no answer to that. There isn't.
So it's just going to end.
Yes.
We're going to end.
Yes.
The world's going to
end.
It
is. Dude, if you can't get on... Look,
after this, my dad's going to be taking mushrooms.
You're depressing me.
Yeah.
No, because it's set up that I just feel that empathetic people that care don't want to lead.
They don't?
They don't. And
don't you think you have so much empathy that you want to bring people with you? Come, I care about you. Follow me.
There's people like Greta Thunberg and stuff, right? That's her name, that is leading and trying to take charge of all the problems that you're talking about.
Yeah, and there's white guys that can dunk a basketball. I mean, there's always going to be an example of the abnormal thing. But I think most people that are honest and good people, if they get into those situations when they see how filthy and awful the game is, like they can't handle it. It's just too overwhelmingly depressing. And they go, maybe I'll just start a little Apple stand and I'll just, in my little patch of the world, try to make it better. I mean, that's, I don't know.
You got to feed 6 billion people. And you're saying because in the Western culture, we order food to go and it comes in plastic containers, that's going to expedite the end of the world? It's going to make it happen quicker? Is that what
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
Okay.
Do you understand?
So do you think that's why they're trying to find ways to get into space and get people up into space if this world should collapse?
No, I don't understand that at all. There's no air up there.
I know. So fucking.
I guess maybe if we can get to another Earth, you know, one of these other Earths that they're saying there's all these Earths out there. I mean, this is way above my pay grade. And also, I don't even, this is just stuff that I think about. Lou, don't get that distant look on your face, okay? I don't want to, you know.
One of the
great
things
head
I
of hair,
admire,
you got that old man sweater on.
One of the things I admire about you is your boldness for the truth. You're bold whether you realize it or not. Your comedy comes from a place of, I'm going to tell you what I'm thinking, and this is along those lines.
Yes, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Well, no, it doesn't have to be true.
But it's also, you can enrage people. Like, I mean, we everybody talks about cancel culture, but I think that your name and Chappelle's name are in one.
I wouldn't say after the week he's had.
No. Does that scare you?
He is in like the comedy Cuban Missile Crisis right now.
No, he is. But does that scare you?
No, because I know most people don't give a shit one way or another.
But
like, they're not really like, this isn't what people are walking around talking about. It's like, you know, watching somebody getting in trouble is just like entertainment. So it gets these hits and people are just like looking at it or whatever. But, you know, and I'm guilty of this. I think a lot of people jump in and they comment and they haven't even seen the thing that they're talking about. I've done jokes about shit that I never even took the time to look at. Yeah. So I take everything with like
here's the thing, though. I
salt.
believe that social media has fucked us all over. And what it does is, you know, I am guilty as anybody is saying things probably that I should have thought about more. And then you get weaponized by people sharing things kind of out of context, like you're saying.
Yeah, everybody's their own CNN and Fox News, and they start spinning it. And
we didn't have pundits when I was growing up.
Yeah, no, people, I mean, I'm not saying the news was accurate. It was way less filtered. Where nowadays I feel like even though there is all of this access, there's just so many people with agendas. Even regular people,
right?
Their YouTube pages and their Facebook is so geared to their
one way or another,
to their political agenda or what the hell they want. That I just sort of tapped out of all of that stuff. Like I watched like MeTV and I watched the Heroes and Icons channel and I just watched shows. Like I was binge watching the Untouchables, which is a phenomenal show.
Is. Yeah,
phenomenal
show.
The
Waltons. I'm watching the Waltons, which every time I watch it, it makes me feel like I need a drink of milk.
Okay.
How old are your kids?
That was my favorite moment of silence ever. I always hated the Waltons.
Favorite moment.
Do you know I hated the Waltons? I couldn't relate to them. They got along too well. Good night, John Boy.
Oh, my God.
Good night, so-and-so.
All the manners
all right
that
there,
I have.
Petunia.
I know.
I hated them.
What about good night, everybody? Just good night, everybody. Why do you have to name everybody?
Every manner that I possess came from the Waltons. You think my parents taught me to be that
No wonder
polite?
it was a drama.
I am always polite.
I love that.
Wait, how old are your kids? Are you worried about social media with them?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are they really young?
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't say their ages.
Well, I mean, yeah, they're like 4 and under.
Oh, so not yet.
Yeah, no.
But that's something you worry about with them being on social media.
Yeah, I just worry because you're like, you graded on a curve. So you get worried that what the other parents allow their kids to do, like what a kid can look at on a cell phone. And that whole stupid, I'll put the parental thing on it. They can literally Google how to turn it off on the phone.
Well, her daughter, my granddaughter, is already on social media.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. She's on OnlyFans. She's got an OnlyFans.
No, my kids, I'm going to try to raise them with enough of the old school stuff with the news. Like, I think it's important to teach kids how to do things. It builds like their confidence. So like, I taught my daughter how to whistle, how to ride a bike, little things like that. It was huge.
Whistle will build a
yeah,
confidence?
because you remember when you're a kid, you know how to whistle yet? You know how to whistle? And all the kids
I don't
know how to
remember
whistle.
that.
And you don't know how to whistle, you feel like a loser.
But I'll be
I
honest with
failed
you.
my kids.
I know, but whistling makes me nervous. When somebody's it makes me, like if I'm in an elevator and somebody's and they just, especially people who aren't good whistlers, it's like fucking chewing. Like
Dude,
why?
I used to do a bit about, the guy at work who hums the song that doesn't exist.
Right.
Just walks around going, yeah. It's like that guy is trying to quiet the voices in his head. And then I start thinking, what are they telling him to do? Like, I don't want to be around this guy.
But whistling, so is your daughter, is it the whistler?
No, she learns how to whistle, and I'm going to teach her how to. Yeah, when she doesn't have the baby teeth, I'll teach her the real whistle.
Things.
The real
things you can teach.
Oh wow,
like
that's
that.
good.
Yeah, you got to have a dad whistle when you got two kids. Makes them stop. They turn
And
around.
come here, get a cab.
Yep.
There's so much. She taught the kids.
Makes them come downstairs. They don't hear your voice, but
Really?
they hear the whistle.
You know what I watched every
couldn't
episode
whistle.
of?
What?
Columbo. Every one from beginning to end. It's on Tubi. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
It's so good.
One of my best memories. I was on the road. This is a good one. He had a good one.
He did?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me why this was a good. Tell me why that was a
Because
good
it
one.
reminded me of one of my favorite things. I was
See?
on the road.
See, you got to know what you're doing.
You had it, and then you jumped in and you slowed it down again.
You were on the road.
Yeah, and I was doing Europe. So what I always do is I would always go over there like before, do like a vacation / get acclimated to the time over there, and then I would do my tour, which would pay for our vacation. So we were in Italy, and my mother-in-law was over there. She came with us this time, and she and I were both jet lagged. My wife fell asleep, and we were in Italy watching Columbo.
In Italian.
But they would have like I think they had the subtitles in Italian, and we were watching it, and we were just cracking up watching him doing that, starting to walk away. There's just one more thing, and we were just dying laughing and talking about the cars and everything from back then, and that was a great trip because I remember I had my favorite cigar I ever had was I walked out. It was nighttime in Rome. And I had a real Cuban cigar, and I was right outside the walls of Vatican City.
Wow.
And I sat there smoking this thing, and all that was open was a little cafe, and they had the Vespas, and they were speaking Italian, like sort of like faded down in the background. And it was just like, at night, because so much stuff is so old over there, I literally felt like a chariot was going to come around the corner, and it was awesome. And then this random Italian dude started coming up talking to me, and I was like, of course. And I was like, all right.
That's my favorite city in the world. I could live there.
Rome?
Yeah.
Yeah, I love
and
it.
I
Italy, all of Italy.
Wow.
I like Portofino better, actually.
I've only been there
Orange.
twice. We went to the Amalfi Coast, and I wasn't a big fan. It was
Really?
very touristy, and I thought the food wasn't as good. And everything was just lemons this, lemons that. It was absolutely gorgeous.
Limoncello.
But I felt because every jerk off who's wants to go to Italy goes there, that it had a little bit. I felt.
But nobody goes to Rome.
Rome was amazing, but I've also heard like Tuscany and Florence. I want to go to more of those places. That's the
You
greatest.
you did comedy in Italy?
No, I didn't. But I had one guy come up to me, and he was from like Croatia, and he was just looking at me. He was like, "Are you Bill Burr?" I was like, "Yeah." He goes, "The hell are you doing here?" I was like, "I don't know. It's Italy."
But you said you worked in Europe. Where did you work?
The last time I did it was my favorite tour. I did. I basically did essentially what is the Midwest, I would say, of Europe, where I did like 3 cities in Germany. I did Budapest.
Is it like
Prague,
when you do
Vienna.
3 cities in Germany? Is it like the American troops or Germans?
No, Germans. Yeah, and it was. I did Berlin, Frankfurt, and I think Hamburg. Oh, Cologne, Frankfurt.
That's
and,
where
and-
Heidi
and
Klum
Berlin.
is from, Cologne.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't sense that. So it's a big comedy town.
What them? Yeah, they're super like smart and literal sometimes. Like I learned that when I did stand up in Finland. Like I felt like I was bombing, and I was just doing it, and it just wasn't going well. And then finally, I told some joke about something, and it was just sort of quiet. I go, what? Are you guys liking this stuff or whatever? And then this guy just goes, well, why didn't you just blah, 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 blah? Like talking about what I would talk about. And I was like, is that what you guys are trying to do? I go, you don't need to try to solve these. These are just jokes. And that's how I got through my set. I would tell a joke and it wouldn't work. And then I would just improv. Well, why didn't you use your other hand? And then they were just laughing. And I had to almost sort of.
That's Finnish.
But it's great.
But and I'm also I'm doing some hacky, just whatever accent. But like, I also learned like they do, like they didn't believe that they were really interesting people. I go, do you guys, believe in God? And they're like, not real. I can't remember if they said yes or no.
The whole audience.
Do you believe in an afterlife?
All right.
And they were like, no. And I was going, so what happens when you die? And the guy was like, do you remember what it was like before you were born? And I was like, no. And he goes, it's like that. And I was just like, wow.
That's amazing.
That is amazing because that made sense.
That sounds like a great special to do in front of a non-English speaking audience and just have fun. Did you ever consider doing something like that?
Well, I did one in London.
Well,
I did
English.
one. No, but I mean, it's a
hard
different.
To understand them too.
It's a different like vibe. You can.
I've worked England, but England is a different vibe, and that's like, to me, it's almost like playing the South here. You know what I mean? It's kind of a different vibe when you go to the
South.
Fun.
You have a different vibe even from state to state, right? Let alone going from country to country. Each state is different. The audiences are different and respond to you differently.
But if you play the heart of Alabama, that's different than playing New York City or Boston, right?
Right, but this is beyond that because this is literally the other side of the planet, like different. Like so.
How about Australia?
What I did was I played other cities there to get into what their vibe and their rhythm is, and then I did the London, and then we taped the special
in London.
Yeah.
How about Australia?
I love Australia.
That's a good comedy town.
And I am terrified of the ocean, and their beaches are so beautiful that I actually, if it wasn't
you don't swim?
Oh, fuck that.
Fuck that.
Fuck that.
No. And I'll swim in a pool.
Oh, okay. I just thought fuck swimming. I don't like swimming.
No. I love
drowning.
swimming.
Oh.
I love swimming, but there's no way in hell you'll ever get me in the ocean.
Have you ever been to Northridge?
Northridge. Isn't that in the valley?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
What does that have to do?
I want to relate to the conversation too. So
We're talking about oceans.
Tarzan.
You know
So wait,
about
you don't go
oceans?
on a vacation with your family to the beach ever?
No, I'll do that, but I am terrified the whole time. Like, I won't let my kids,
Fun times at the beach for the kids.
I stay up. Do you ever see Jaws when she let them go on that little floaty float? Look what happened.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
Was that a documentary for you? I mean, that doesn't.
It was. No, but it's also like I read all those classic books, and you just see what happens when you. I actually read not a classic, but I read that book, A Perfect Storm, that they made a movie.
Oh yeah.
They had a whole chapter on drowning. What happens when you drown?
Is that your biggest fear in life? Is drowning?
No.
What's your biggest fear?
Oh, I don't even know that I want to put that out there, because then someone will be like, "I know what I'm gonna do."
There goes the conspiracy theories again. Back to the conspiracy theory.
That's what I always love. Like people when they talk about you got guns in your house. They're like, "Oh yeah, I got this, I got that." They say, "Why are you reading from your playbook?" Now this person who's watching knows what to do, what they need to bring to win.
Oh shit! My son has guns. He talks about a lot. He shouldn't have, right?
Listen,
my son's
funny?
here.
I've been doing a joke at my act. You don't need to get if you don't need to get a gun. All you need to do, if you hang an American flag out in front of your house and you put a Trump sign, they just go, "I'm not going in there." That guy is an AR-15 and he knows how to use it. You know what I mean?
That's fantastic.
If you got like the puppy dog pals and like a bouncy house, someone's going, "All right, there's good eats in there."
What's your biggest fear, Howie?
Dying. Yeah.
Oh no, man.
No.
I think that's going to be great. I think that's going to. No, I don't want to, but I think it's going to be a trip. I think that's going to be like here we go.
But Bill, there's nothing for that.
I know, but like, why would you need to keep going? Like, isn't it enough that your time on this planet was you a human?
But it brings up a lot of questions.
Yeah, but it's also, I'm not good. I need to know everything. I'm not good with the unknown.
Oh, so you're saying your kids had fun at the beach? Like, I can already see you, like, when you guys went on, like, a road trip. I mean, did you have, like, the whole fucking thing worked out, like the map?
Absolutely.
Yeah, he did. He did. Everything was planned every single day. We have our vacations planned a year in advance. We do.
I can tell the second you started talking about planning a vacation, he immediately got dual restless leg syndrome. He literally just started going like this.
I'm nuts. I'm afraid of dying. I'm afraid of,
But I think it's
because I
common.
don't know what it is. I don't know what
Can I
it
tell you
is.
something? You're going to be fine. And there's nothing out there
But you
that
do a lot of dangerous shit.
But there's nothing out there that
To prove
hates
to
you.
myself that I'm not going to die, so I lose the fear. I do a lot of danger. I like to come close
Trying
without
to make
dying.
him feel better.
What kind of danger do you do? You go near a person
What kind
who
of
sneezes?
danger do you do?
Where you from?
You go near a person that
Canadian.
sneezes, that's dangerous.
What I do dangerous things, don't I?
Yeah, so like every vacation was completely planned with shit that like
relative.
someone died the following week after we did it.
I took the kids on it. Too.
Yeah.
Oh, let me guess. You went to Six Flags? Every time I go to Six Flags, a ride, somebody gets stuck on a ride.
I zip line and I did crazy things in airplanes and things like that.
What'd you do in
Death
airplanes?
is a profound question.
I did it to him a lot. We used to. I used to wait for him to fall asleep on the plane,
Fall asleep on the plane.
and then I used to tell the pilot to take it into a dive.
Oh my God.
But first, what I would do is I would take some water, just warm water, and drop it on his pants, in the front of his pants, and then we would all. He'd wake up from a sleep as the nose was heading toward the ground, and we'd all be screaming, "Ah!" And he would wake up,
God.
and then he would look at his pants and be ashamed that he pissed himself. But we never told him that he didn't piss himself. We would just.
You also
Why
sprayed
would
me
you
on
do that?
stage once, right? While I was on stage, you had somebody spray my crotch while I was on stage.
I did that, but
Yeah.
that's not dangerous.
Oh, no, I'm speaking of spraying my pants. That's
I
one of
did.
the
I did that.
traumatic
I've
memories that I
I've
have.
done barrel rolls when the FAA wasn't as they're more
You do
aware.
dangerous things.
You know he's a helicopter pilot.
I
You
didn't know that.
do dangerous
You do.
things.
You do.
Oh, you're a helicopter pilot. I didn't know that.
You're a helicopter pilot?
Yes.
Do you have a helicopter?
Yes.
So does
I have a little-
Jeff Dunham. Are you friends with Jeff
A
Dunham?
little two-seater. I know. I met Jeff a long time ago, but I haven't met.
He built a helicopter.
Dude, that guy is a genius. Do you ever see that? There was a whole thing on that guy where he like. Do you know if you're a ventriloquist and you buy a puppet from a store, if you get famous, the maker of the puppet can garnish your wages. Say like, well, you got famous using our thing.
No.
Yeah. So he had to design his own puppet, and he was able to do that. Like he has like the artistic ability to draw it, and they were showing him, and he was like making this 3D image on the computer that then went to look like a house safe or something like that built the mold of it, and then he paints it. I mean,
No, I see.
the
I went to
effort
it.
that guy puts in, and he builds his own helicopters
And
I mean,
puppets.
that guy's a
Helicopters and puppet
genius.
builder.
Genius.
He really is.
He's a
That should be on
fucking
his
genius.
card.
That guy.
Yeah, and he's a good guy
Should be
too.
on his card.
Yeah. that guy is-
Helicopter and
Puppet builder.
the thing is, he took me up in his helicopter. The helicopter makes no sound. He goes as we're flying. He fills in the sound. He
What do you mean
ventriloquist.
it makes no sound?
I was trying.
It was a joke. It was a
thank
bad
you. My
joke.
daughter.
Okay.
Just like the puppets don't talk, but he puts the voice in.
Oh, okay.
The helicopter.
Oh, I missed it. You know what? I immediately went to. I got a little bit of tinnitus in this ear, and I'm like, wait a minute. Does he have some sort of super quiet engine or something? You know?
You have tinnitus?
Yeah.
That would drive me nuts. Does that drive you nuts? That's
No,
when
you
you hear a
just-
ringing in your ear all the time, right?
Yeah.
Do you answer it? Do you ever answer the
Oh
ring?
boy.
You know, let me
Oh,
just
boy.
say this, okay?
Do you
Hang on.
answer it?
Sticks and stones will break my bones, but names will never hurt me. And I have it on good authority that I can say that that guy who wrote that is a fucking motherfucking asshole.
So, have you had any close calls when it comes to helicopters?
No.
No.
No, it's very safe. It's as safe as my instructor told me. Flying is as safe as you are. You can be an idiot. You
Which
can-
Kobe's pilot was an idiot, right?
Look, I'm not going to trash somebody that's got 15,000 more hours than I do. The report's yet to come out. I don't know what happened, but for me, if I want to, if I'm going to solo, I just look. They have like a little. It's called a METAR. You just look at the weather, and the visibility.
A METAR?
Yeah,
Are you pronouncing that wrong?
Is it not
Yeah.
meter?
no, it's METAR. It's called
It's
a
A METAR?
It's an acronym. Like meteorological, blah, 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 whatever.
Oh.
Terrifying flying.
I know what a centaur is. I don't know
Yeah.
what a metar. So, and you own your own two-seater? Do you take your wife in
So
it? Do you take your kids in
I
it?
have never taken a passenger yet. Every time I fly enough where I get the confidence to do it, which I could do it now, I'm just extra careful. So,
So where do you go?
I just, wherever I want to go, you just go fly around. A lot of these little airports have like really cool restaurants and stuff like that. You can just land, get something to eat.
So you just go from airport to airport? Like, did you? Because you didn't fly here today.
No, I didn't.
Have you ever flown to a gig?
Yeah.
And just really?
Yeah. But I mean,
That's so fucking cool.
It is so cool. I've flown to Vegas a couple of times, and like what I do is I rent a bigger one because mine would take forever to get there. So I rented like a R44, which is like a 4-seater, and we flew there. And the approach that when you come in to where you land, is you fly right by the New York, the Aladdin, the MGM, and the other one there, the Trop. So you go right, and you're like, and you're coming in, and you're descending. So you're like at that level. All right, so that's the helicopter I ended up buying. Those are the guys up in Vancouver. That's a Cabri G2, which is
you bought a Canadian?
No, it's a French helicopter, but I was up there, and we had a great time.
Who's flying that one right there? Is that you flying it?
No. Oh, well, let me see.
Why is one person wearing a helmet but not you?
It's Joe Rogan. Yeah, we took him up in a 44 one time.
You said you never had a passenger.
No, but I've never. I'm pilot in command, and there's nobody else there.
Oh, got it.
So
you're flying it, that one.
Yeah, I was flying that one, and then my instructor took the picture.
You look confident.
Well, how long have you been flying?
Since like 2014.
What does a helicopter cost?
Now you
Yeah,
want one.
they're not cheap. They're not cheap.
Are you
Plus
asking because you want one, Dad?
Well, I mean, they can be anywhere from like $180 all the way up to millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars. So like, aviation is just like, there's a reason I only have the little 2-seater egg beater because,
You know what I want to get? I want to get one of those where you can land it in a lake and suck up the water and then drop. If my house is ever on fire, I'd like one of those helicopters where the hose go. You know what I'm talking about?
All right, well, that's how I got into. That's how I got into flying helicopters. I was reading conspiracy theory and about the dollar collapsing.
About what?
The dollar collapsing and all that, and then just being in L.A., thinking about how hard it was to get out of L.A. even when everything was working. It takes forever, and I was like, how would I ever get out of here and just up and out?
Right.
So then I was like going, and then I just started, it wasn't 100% conspiracy theory. Then I just started. I always liked.
But it was an escape.
But it was something I always liked, and I always found, like, I'm sort of a closet gearhead who doesn't really know how to fix anything, but I will watch people. Like, one of my favorite guys to watch on YouTube is this guy, Eric the Car Guy, because he fixes, like, modern cars, which are just a total mystery. Like, back in the day, the cars we grew up with, you open the hood, you could still see the driveway.
Yeah, I drive a Tesla. I open the hood, and I can see my shirt that I wore yesterday.
Your fanny pack, yeah. So... But this guy, the front wheel drives, it turns sideways. The whole engine is covered in some sort of, there's always these plastic things. And just watching him do this stuff, I'm fascinated. I used to watch that
So do
show.
you work on your own helicopter?
Do I? No. God, no.
No.
Do you find a freedom flying that you otherwise don't? I mean, is that one of the reasons that...
He said it was to escape.
But
He sounds like my husband with the conspiracy theories and the planning to have an escape route.
But I love that.
Oh, you know what? When this pandemic and then there was all those runs on the grocery stores where everybody acted like cows had COVID and there was going to be no beef ever again. Remember that? And the shelves were all empty.
Okay.
I was so happy for all of those guys that were getting shit for having that extra freezer with 1,000 pounds of meat in there and and all the toilet paper and the provisions. Like they must have felt like, huh, honey? Huh? Look at this. What do you want?
My husband.
All the
That's your
neighbors are
husband.
freaking out. And what do you want? You want veal? You want pork chop? What do you want? So
That's on the first. Did you see the first episode of Curb Your Enthusiasm where he found out that Albert Brooks? This is a spoiler if you haven't watched it, so you can turn this off right now. But he found out that he's a COVID hoarder. That's what he called him. He opened the closet and he found all this shit. He's a COVID hoarder. Fucking idiot is a COVID hoarder. We hate COVID hoarders.
Yeah.
But I thought you were going to say, like, if you wanted to get your helicopter pilot's license for an escape route, the fact that you just purchased a 2-seater is what.
Well, I'm working my way up, and then I can maybe.
But which child will you choose to escape with when you? It's like Sophie's Choice.
Yeah.
Look, it started with a crazy idea and it ended up in a great thing where you get, like, I'll tell you, LA has some of the most beautiful houses you're ever going to see. And like, you can see them, and so many of them behind like gates and stuff like that. So you can fly over and see them. Like I one of my favorite ones when I fly over, there's this home that, was in The Godfather that I think the horses had scene was shot there. JFK and Jackie Kennedy had their honeymoon there.
Where is it? What part of LA is it?
Beverly Hills?
Yeah, that sort of area. It's this beautiful house. And then it has like these 3 look like infinity pools, but the old school ones where they're just for decoration. And then there's the real pool, like this, that old school like Hollywood.
And you just hover over people's homes?
No, I just fly by. I don't do that. No, because there's also like noise abatement and stuff. So you got to make sure you're high enough above the ground or people get like.
Do you do photography?
No.
No, because it'd be great to take like aerial shots.
Well, the thing about a helicopter is you always have to hang on to stuff or else it flips
is
over.
a helicopter dangerous? Much more. Is it more dangerous than a plane?
It's one of those, it's an argument that people that know
I'm not arguing.
way more about aviation than I do argue all the time. There's things that like
It's easy to tip.
well, listen, if you're playing,
It seems like you got one rotor. Like if your engine goes, it seems like you just drop.
you have to catch, and you catch your RPMs. If you don't catch your RPMs, you're screwed. The thing about a
How
plane,
many times have I told you that?
I
Lou?
know. It's
Yeah.
important. I do that anyway.
but if you fly in a plane, the engine quits, you're still flying.
Right.
So that's their thing. And then also with them, they also have like the parachute. They can push a button now, like, and just do that. But the thing about that thing is you're not.
Oh, my friend bought a plane you're talking in a plane.
Yeah, but now you don't have any control of where you're going to land and where you're going to go. So, dude, I mean, there could be people in a food court and you're hanging like, you're just like going, fuck, this thing is coming down.
But the chances of you surviving on the end of a parachute versus
and living with the deaths of all those children you land on. So, I mean, there's arguments for both. The thing with what they, I don't want to bore you with this, but with like,
it's not boring.
okay, so with a helicopter, what gives you lift when the engine's running is you're drawing air into the main rotor, is what you're doing. And those blades, all they're doing, they're just shaped the same way as a wing.
Right.
So it's the same thing. You're getting low pressure, high pressure underneath. High pressure goes directly to low pressure, takes the immediate direct route. And
You're talking too fast. Slow down.
that's what brings you up. So that's why you're able to hover. Because where they need to be going like 60 knots to get the lift, that thing is spinning to that point, and that's when you get light on the skids, and then you're up. So you're drawing air into the disc. So when you have an engine failure, how you keep that going is it descending / falling back down to the earth. The air is now rushing up, and it keeps it spinning. But the thing is when if you were to be flying really fast, your blades are turned like that. So the second the engine stops, the amount of force slowing that down, your RPMs drop really quickly. So the second you hear the RPM, you slam down the collective, and then you go aft cyclic, and then that gets them spinning. And if it goes beyond, there's a certain point in every helicopter, if they got lower than that, you cannot recover them, and then you are fucked. So there is that.
You're
Do
not
they put
scared?
you when do you go in a simulator and do they simulate these problems? Like I know when people
No.
are getting their pilot's license,
No, you just do them, and then. But what I like about a helicopter though, is that where a plane you still have to be going a certain speed. I don't know much about planes, but you still have to be going a certain speed when you land. And if you're landing and there's like little tree stumps and stuff, you could cartwheel in that thing or whatever. And like those things, there's no crumple zones. They're not designed to hit anything. So that's like being in like, a 55 Oldsmobile where the steering wheel is going to go through your chest and everything. But with a helicopter, you come down and in the end, you go into your flare and you bleed off all that forward airspeed. So no brain slamming against the skull and shit coming into you. You bleed all of that off. And then you level it off like that, and then your last bit of energy when you go down, you pull up. Ideally, this is how you do it, and that cushions your landing. But even then, even if you were to have a hard landing, you might mess up your back a little bit, but you're not going to get crushed. You're not going to go spinning and flying.
As someone who has a fear of flying, this conversation is
This is Aviation 101 with Bill Burr.
taking its toll.
It's definitely 101 if I'm talking about it.
How long have you been flying?
Since 2014.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I read a book called
And I am really green. I don't know a lot about it, but I'm proficient for how long I've been doing
I
it.
used to, I'm afraid of helicopters now, but I used to fly in helicopters.
Oh, they're great.
It was great,
They
especially
are
when there's traffic.
And it's
What do
really,
you know, Bill?
It's really flying too. That's what I like. You give up a lot in speed.
You do. The coolest
like-
thing I ever did, my pilot's name was actually Johnny Cool. I'm not making it up. If he's listening to
I'd
this.
be afraid to fly with a guy named Johnny Cool because I think Johnny's going to show off.
Wasn't that his name, Rich? Johnny Cool? Yeah, and I used to do Deal or No Deal at CBS Television City, at Beverly.
Yeah.
At Beverly and
I
Fairfax.
followed your career. You've had an amazing, amazing
So
career.
he would park the helicopter on the roof of that building. And then
Yep.
at night, I would play the MGM Hotel in Las Vegas. So I would say good night to the Deal or No Deal audience, run upstairs, get in the helicopter. He'd take off the roof. This is rush hour. So we would fly over. He'd land in Van Nuys here. I'd get in a plane, and then boom, I was on stage at 8 o'clock at night.
How great was it when you're flying from where you were taping up and over and you see all those brake lights?
Oh, it was
and
amazing.
all those headlights, and it's just like, and also just
Not
as the crow flies, how
I just got scared. I lost
direct.
an agent in a helicopter crash in Kobe. Well, he was with, what's the guitar player that he went down with?
Phil?
No, who's a famous guitar player that
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. He was in the
what?
helicopter with Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Wow.
Yeah, and so that after
Well,
that,
that shouldn't make you afraid of helicopters because that was like pilot error.
well, I asked you about that, and I was asking you about the Kobe thing. Is that pilot error? I don't know.
No, well, that was something that already came about. Well, that was the thing about that. What I would be nervous is if somebody is landing off airport, meaning you're not at an airport,
Yeah.
okay, and you're in like a mountainous, hilly area.
But he wasn't landing there.
If there was poor visibility, well, they hit the side of a hill. I don't think the guy deliberately flew into it unless he was suicidal. But like, if you don't know that area, like I do a casino down in San Diego, outside of San Diego, and the thing is I could fly into there and they'll let me land right in the parking lot, which is the James Bond thing. But
Yeah.
the thing is by the time
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Burr.
yeah, right. But the thing is by the time the show's over, it's dark out. And it's, you're in like a valley and there's all those wires. The wires will really kill people. And we just,
But wouldn't you just go straight up, and then fly forward?
in theory, you think that could work, but it's just like, just not knowing where stuff, it's just, well, that's something that you could do. You basically, you calculate the risk versus reward. And I'm just like, how about I just land at this airport nearby and I'll drive down and it'll take an extra half an hour and I live.
Do you read a lot, Bill? Do you read a lot?
No.
Do you read a lot?
It makes me
I
sleepy.
saw you reading a book once, Rambo.
I did read Rambo. I didn't want to see the movie after that because they couldn't do it justice.
I read a book called.
They couldn't capture the beauty.
Not that. That story is about the pain that man.
I've seen every Rambo. Did you see the latest one he put out? It was fucking amazing.
The latest one?
Yeah, he made one like a year and a half ago. It came out.
No, I didn't see that.
Oh, it was
I didn't
amazing.
even know there's a Rambo that's a year old.
Yeah, he's fighting drug
Rambold.
cartels. Drug cartels in Mexico.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
I watch him on Instagram. I watch him
awesome.
on Instagram with his daughters.
I read a book called Cacti.
It was like everything you
Here,
you
they're gonna
wanted.
Show me what it is.
It was a Rambo movie.
Is that the latest one?
Where is it? Right.
Is that's
Last
it?
Blood.
Last Blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
2019.
Yeah.
Last Blood with Paz Vega. She played Carmen.
Yeah, it was
Yvette.
great. And there was this-
Sergio Perez.
I don't want to ruin it, but there's somebody he has to go rescue.
Manchetta.
Somebody has to what?
He has to go rescue somebody.
They always call on him, no matter how old he gets, no matter how out of shape.
rely on
They
it. You
don't
can rely on
learn. They don't learn. You don't want to mess with John Rambo, no matter what age he is. I love that movie.
One more thing, he's an amazing drummer. Do you know that?
No,
I do know that. I saw, I saw a video.
Dad drummer.
What's a dad drummer?
Dad drummer means you can play cover songs and stuff like that. But no, you used to see some of these the kids today.
I have to tell you, I saw a video that Caroline
rock and
showed
roll.
me
The
that
kids today with
Jeremy
the rock
is
and
a huge fan of his, and he put up this video.
Jeremy
That-
made a fan. This guy that works for me put up a video. Show him the video.
And it has like over 100,000 views. What is it?
Is that you?
That's him.
You rock it.
Okay, you gotta stop.
Stop it.
All right. So what I was, dude, the internet is amazing. So what I was doing was I I was talking about the drummer in.
Beatles?
No. I just that's called
Metallica?
Meshuggah.
Meshuggah.
So that song is called Bleed. It's about a brain hemorrhage, and I was just talking about.
I love that a heavy metal band called themselves Meshuggah. For those that don't know, that's a very Yiddish, crazy. It's crazy in Yiddish, which is crazy in itself. That takes away the edge of, for me, of a metal band. But go ahead.
So there was just something where it was like, it was an, I don't know much about drums, but it's like they play like 2 time signatures against each other, 3 against 4, whatever the hell he's playing. He was playing 4 on top, and underneath he was playing a different time signature with his feet that the band was locked into, but the crowd was locked into what he was doing with his hands. It was the sickest thing I had ever seen, and it still grooved, and people could still intellectually wrap their head around it because he had that 4/4 pulse on top. And then
might as well be talking aviation to me.
And then the singer was singing in 4. It was amazing. And what was this was so cool was I went to that show. Dave Elitch, amazing drummer, incredible drum teacher, and he's going, dude, you got to see these guys. You got to see this guy. And Thomas Hockey, I always say his last name wrong, is the drummer. So I went down there, and like every drummer that I loved was at that show. Because it was like watching like Dave Attell comes to town and we all want to go see Dave Attell. This was the drumming version of it. So they were all there. And I remember at one point something crazy happened in a song. And Danny Carey was there from Tool. He's one of my favorite drummers. And he's like super tall, right?
Right.
And something crazy happened where it was, they lopped up an 8th note here. Something happened. You thought the whole thing was going to tumble on itself. And they came out on one. And it was amazing. And right as it happened, I was like, what the fuck? And I just happened to look over at him, this giant guy. And I just saw him just go, fuck, like that. I was just like, wow, they just blew Danny Carey's mind. That is so cool that I just saw that.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
So anyway,
but I'm sure
you led me down that road.
No, but it's okay. I'm sure in the drumming world it means something. I don't know a lot.
It was fun to see a guy as good as Danny Carey, geeking out about another drummer. You just see like, okay, so
I find drumming fascinating.
Yeah.
My son could drum. Jeremy.
There you go. Well, he probably enjoyed the story.
He did.
I wish his microphone
I know the
was
only
on.
drummer I really know. He has a microphone.
His microphone's on.
Do you understand the story, Jeremy or Alex?
Oh yeah. I know everything you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's a good. So then
I
the
don't
people,
understand it.
It doesn't matter. We have an audience. It's not only about us. It's the people that are going. You got to hear. We talked about aviation. We talked about losing an 8th or whatever it was.
Dropping an 8th note.
Dropping an 8th note. I know nothing about music, and yet I'm a judge.
I don't either.
Yeah, you do. Did you want it? Is that what you wanted to do? Did you want to be a rock?
I knew I did. I knew I wanted to have a fun job, but I knew one of the things that I was blessed with was I always knew that if I didn't have it, I knew early. I knew if I sucked at something, and I remember with like drums, it was playing and everything. I had a basic level understanding and talent for it, but then I just would go to these music stores and I would see some 8-year-old kid and I would see that he had the gift, and I just knew. I was just like, this is not my calling. Same way like I got into construction. I tried to do that. It's like I like pickup trucks, I like breaking balls. Maybe I can do construction. I just didn't. I'm smart enough that if you tell me what to do, but like I didn't have a gift for it. So comedy was the only thing. I remember the first night I walked in.
When you started in like the 90s, right?
92. It wasn't the first night because the first night was a contest. So it was just, the first open mic show I went to was a comedy club, Stitches. I don't know if you ever played it in Boston.
Yeah, I did.
It does not exist anymore. So I remember walking in there, and as nervous as I was, I felt at home where I'd finally found the people that were the same kind of weird I was.
I had that same experience.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
That's where I met him the first night I ever went on stage at Yuck Yucks in Toronto.
Like most people will be totally weirded out by
right.
sitting this close to Lou,
know,
but I've been comfortable.
I've been trying to say
the
this
whole
for
time.
the longest time. I read a book called Cacti. It's about more than one cactus. It's not about one cactus. It's about many cactus or cacti.
I'm trying not to encourage him, but he seems to enjoy bombing.
That does encourage.
It's like,
There you go.
I did a set on Sunday night, and there were
why the lavender?
There were 7 people.
Why the lavender?
Which
Are you still mourning Prince?
this is my wife got me this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So what am I not?
How do you
gonna
know it's
wear?
not your wife's?
She gave it to me. I'm not gonna. This is.
I just asked, you know.
I never particularly cared for it, to be honest with you. I've had it for about 10 years. I just started wearing it. It's
Today?
not something that appeals to me.
I like an old man sweater.
It's a great. It's made out of what is it? What is that?
Wool?
No, another
a sweater.
One. Much more. I can't remember. Cashmere. It's made out of cashmere. So I did a set on
Fancy.
Sunday night.
Wife's making money, huh? She buys you a cashmere sweater. She doesn't
10 years
notice
ago.
you don't wear it for 10 years.
I don't. And
Why do you wear a sweater and a scarf?
because I'm hip and cool.
I would think you're hot
I
and
also
sweaty.
hang around. I also hang around. I also hang around fat and stupid people, so I can be smart and skinny.
I kind of like that one.
Can you imagine
You know
that
what
as
it
an
is?
audience member?
I kind of like that one.
It's like you're in Finland.
You know what? You should put out a special called Endearing.
Yeah, I did a set.
Not to be confused with enduring.
What do you think? He goes, he's very endearing.
Very endearing, you know.
I think he's the most endearing.
I didn't laugh, but I like him.
I'm not going for the laugh. I like Arsenio used to do that, like where he used to go, the jokes that really didn't make it. Remember on his show, he used to do things that make you go,
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's just not a good joke. Right? I don't want to lose it. It doesn't get a big laugh, but it's endearing.
Well, that's why there's a problem with people that are trying to do what you do, which is be bold and tell the truth as much as you can.
Dude,
which
I love
admire.
when you have like three
But
words,
no,
trying to do what you do.
but I
and-
here's the thing. I admire what you do, but other people are going out there to do that, and they think,
What is it that you do?
what do you do? What the fuck do you do?
You do what you do.
For fuck's sake.
Was there a point, Luke,
Yes,
to what
my
you were
point,
saying?
My point is that
Interrupting.
you see
was
comics
the
go
point.
on that think if they don't get a laugh, it's only because they've been bold in telling the truth. You know, I'm a truth teller.
But what if you can tell the truth and make it funny?
That's Mr. Burr.
That's what you do.
His truth.
It's a good time to check my shit. That is amazing.
Wait, how many views did that get? That got a lot of views, by the way.
How many views?
Yeah.
It has 76,124 views.
Dude, you know what was the best one on here?
What?
Is this guy was trolling people that were fans of like Guitar Gods, and they would do stuff like Yngwie shreds, like Yngwie Malmsteen.
Yeah.
And then he would like take out the audio, and then he would play horrible guitar. But the brilliance was he would play it in the same place their hand was.
Oh, I see a lot of videos like that. Like even
Look up like Eddie Van Halen, rest his soul, one of my favorite. Eddie Van Halen shreds. Just please look that up.
Eddie Van Halen shreds.
Yeah, Eddie Van Halen.
This is like those ones where the people are with David Bowie and Mick Jagger. When
Fans would get so mad. They're like, "That's not Eddie playing." That was like. All right, here we go. Here we go. Yeah. The first one.
The first one.
The first one.
I've seen this.
It's not shredding either.
That's all I
No,
can play.
it's just 5 minutes of that, and these people would get so mad. I mean, now everybody knows about it, but dude, like I used to.
But did you ever see that thing that they did where they put in David Bowie and Mick Jagger doing dancing in the streets?
Yeah.
But have you seen that?
No.
Where they put on the one that we could play this one. This is because it's not dancing in the streets, but dubbed. It makes me laugh.
Okay.
There's a lot of. I think maybe they got the idea from seeing this Eddie Van Halen video that you just showed.
Oh my
Is
god.
this the one?
That face
It might be. It said
that
dub.
is usually covered by her.
That was
Yeah.
my when I can't even tell you when I first saw that I was like just crying laughing.
Yeah, this is it. Watch this.
Oh yeah. I've seen it.
Calling out around the world, are you ready for a brand new beat? Summer's here and the time is right for dancing in the street. in New Orleans.
Please shut it off. Please, I feel embarrassed for both of them. Oh, dude, those things.
That was actually made by Rich, is one of the producers here. His
Oh my God.
his friend's daughter made that in film school.
Really?
Dubbed
Oh,
it.
I
Yeah,
didn't know
right?
that.
Didn't he? Did she?
It was a son.
His son
Yep.
made it in film school. He dubbed it, and now they do that. I don't know if you got the idea, but that's the same thing as taking like the shredding of really Eddie Van Halen. But it's not identifiable enough for somebody like me to not know.
That's why
it's not
'cause
great.
It's perfect
Subtle.
bad playing.
Right.
And then the best part is like Eddie used to do this thing where he would like he'd hit a note and he would like turn the peg or whatever, which brings it down and then back up or whatever.
Yeah.
And this guy would make the sound of just turning a guitar like dare 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 dare.
But I love
it. Fucking horrible. Like.
But my favorite thing in all of comedy, and I tell this to Jackie all the time, is when people don't get the joke.
Oh.
When they don't, when they watch that and you read the comments and they hate it, or they go, "That's not it," or "It doesn't sound great," or "That's not him."
The literal people are the greatest.
The best. That's what I love on social media.
Were you in The Aristocrats? The movie,
No, and I'll be honest with you, I never heard that joke, and they were like,
I
"This is
never
joke
heard it
that all
either.
comedians tell." It's
Yes,
just like I
I
must be
never
out of
heard
the
it
loop.
either. I know Howie was in it, but one guy came up to me once and said, "I saw this movie where everybody was telling the same joke," and he knew I was a comedian, so I thought I'd impress him with my knowledge of this thing that he just saw because I'm a comedian. I said, "Oh yeah, it's an old joke. It's a very filthy joke." And they used 100 comedians telling that same joke. And then he said to me, "Were you in it?" And I said, "No, they used 100 other comedians."
It's like an art form.
It is. I have.
What form of art do you think it is?
No.
Like when the window blows out on a plane and just all the pressure just goes out of the room.
I'll take that as a compliment. So,
like they literally should have been masks coming down from the ceiling after that punchline.
no.
Would you put it on him first, though?
That saved my life. They used 100 other comedians.
He's just doubling down.
Doubling down.
Yeah. He does.
He just got into another plane.
He
Blow
doesn't
out
give
that
up.
window.
So, do you have anything that you're doing? What's the next thing that we can look forward to?
I got F is for Family is coming out, and then there's a show.
This is season 5, 6.
Yeah.
Love that.
Then there's a show called Immoral Compass with Tyler Falbo. This brilliant writer and director makes these really short, comedic, dark films that we actually made for Quibi, and then pandemic killed Quibi, so it's coming out on Roku the first week in November. You got to see it. It's another thing Vince Vaughn was nice enough to agree to be in. Bobby Lee, we got all these people in there, and this guy just writes these really dark but funny.
So we look for that.
Look for that on Roku, and then F is for Family season 5 is coming out.
You got all these, and you're doing a lot of live. You've been like crushing it. You've been playing arenas and
That's
selling
next
out.
year. Next year, I got a tour like that, and I told
Arenas?
my wife, I said I'm buying 1 pair of pants and 2 shirts, and that's all I'm buying, and I'm just banking all of this money, and that's going to be it.
What do you mean that's going to be it?
Well, I just don't want to be one of these assholes that gets to do something like that, and then years later, he's lost all his money. He's come back with a new book.
Oh no,
An
no,
older, wiser, broker, Bill Burr. So I'm not going to be that guy. So I just want to I kind of realized too, during this pandemic, how hard you work in this business, and that achieving isn't really living. Like achieving is just achieving, and I would like to kind of, at some point,
What is that noise?
I don't know. It was amazing.
It's a vehicle.
I kind of liked it.
Okay.
I did want to ask though, because I know you mentioned that it got lonely when you were on the road and stuff. Do you ever bring your kids and your family on the road with you?
Well, my kid's in school, so that's hard. But there's a few. Like my wife, in the past would come on the road, and I used to always tease her. Like, you always go to New York and Chicago. I go, you never come on the road with me when I need you. Like, I'm going to Des Moines.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, Sioux City or something like that. These places which are cool in their own way, but they are really,
You're not Italy.
You know, they're yeah.
My wife used to, when Jackie grew up on the road, and I was in a tour bus at the time.
I loved it.
Quad Cities. She never came on that run.
No, but my wife came on. Well, she was having the second child. She was pregnant, and she'll never go on again because she was stuck in one of those on the bed in the bus. You know, it's kind of like a little coffin, and she was pregnant, and she couldn't get out of the little coffin.
Oh God.
So she won't travel with me anymore. But you're going to play. Is it an arena tour? Is it?
It's sort of a mix of both. A few arenas, but just all of these great places, and
then you're just gonna. Now, do you invest? You say I'm not going to buy anything. See, I was nutty. No.
I would invest in. I'm not going to go out and just go do stupid shit. You know what I mean? I'm going to talk real estate with you someday because I need some advice.
Yeah, that's what I did. I remember when I made my first. I had $6,000 in the bank. And
unbelievable.
It was
feeling
in 1978. I had from comedy.
I used to just keep looking at the bank book.
I have my bank book.
I can't believe it.
I have my bank book. It's funny that you should say that because I look at it, my old bank book from the Royal Bank of Canada, and I look at it right up to my
Bank of Montreal.
Yeah, but I look at it from those days. But I had $6,000, and I went to the bank and I bought a $5,000 term deposit for 10 years at 12%. And my wife was mad because we only had $1,000 left in the bank, and that was tied up for the next 12 years. But I was so scared. I would be guaranteed. I said, honey, I'm guaranteed the 12% every year. I'm guaranteed $750 whether I get another job or not. But I'm always
after 12 years. What was it worth? Do you remember?
No,
he just said it was like $750.
Yeah, but I got to do the math. I thought I'd ask.
Nobody has to do the math.
He said the answer. He said $750.
Guys, get along, please. I'm gonna have to turn this whole fucking thing around. They're not getting along.
We've talked about nothing up until now. This is the most important shit: how to make money and hold on to it, or make it more money, so you don't have.
But that's what and then I read this book.
focused.
I've been focused on that. The book I read, and it kind of changed how I do business, was Rich Dad Poor Dad. Did you ever read that book?
I saw the series
but
with Nick Nolte.
Anyway, I read the. Sorry.
It's amazing. This is the anti-Ed McMahon. Reverse Ed McMahon.
It really is. I don't know. He was here way before I even started doing the podcast. He's been sitting on that couch for 4 years now.
Dropped in one day. I just dropped in one day.
And never left.
We don't even get him a headset. Anyway, the thing is.
Yeah, it's it.
But Rich Dad Poor Dad, you said it didn't stick?
I just wasn't certain stuff. You just have to be ready to hear it.
So here's what this was the philosophy. The philosophy is this: we are taught our.
Where did that accent come from?
What?
We are taught
from you. You're from Massachusetts. I was trying to make you feel at home.
Okay. I don't know.
It was the hard A. Ha.
I do a lot of things.
That just came out. That was just a speech impediment.
We are taught. All right.
We are taught that we go to school, we get an education, and then we go, when we graduate, somehow civilization will give us a really good job. And then if you get a real good job, if somebody graduated college and they were able to get a job at $100,000 a year.
Unbelievable.
It is unbelievable. But what would that person do? What does the average person do?
They spend $110,000.
Well, right. So they would probably just buy a home. Like if they were thinking that they were being responsible, they would buy a home and they'd buy themselves a mortgage. So you're buying yourself a debt. And his theory, besides, I believe he's just making money on selling books and having, meetings and shit like that. But his theory was every dollar you make, think of those dollars as employees. So how can you make money? So if you want to
make them work for you.
So you may not want the house that you should buy for your first house, but maybe you should buy a duplex in a shittier area. And that way you live in one and you rent out the other one. So now you're living for free, or it's throwing off a little bit of profit. So everything that I do, everything that I spend has to throw off profit.
That's how you got that jacket. It all comes full circle.
Is it even a fantastic jacket?
That's one of the sickest,
really?
It's sort of like the jean looking jacket. Well, I grew up with that jacket, and that was always the blue jean color. If you had that jacket when I was growing up, they'd be like, where the fuck? That's
I think the lady who bought the jacket is here, right?
That is a rock star jacket.
Does Dina have another one for him?
Is it a denim jacket?
I don't know. It's kind of.
I can't because I've talked about it so much.
I'll tell you what it is.
People are going to see at it, and I'll be at my show, and they'll be like, "That's Howie's jacket."
I'll tell you what it is, and it isn't cashmere. I'll tell you that
I don't know
right
what
now.
it is.
This is.
I
went to see the Stones the other night.
Oh, how
to see
great
the
was
Stones?
that?
Amazing.
How old
Steve
were they?
Jordan on drums. Steve Jordan on drums.
Yeah.
Literally what John Belushi said on the Blues Brother album.
Yeah,
Steve
Steve
Jordan, one of my favorite,
Drummers.
unbelievable drummers of all time.
He
That
didn't
guy,
drop an eighth note.
Huh?
He didn't drop an eighth note.
I think all this shit's in 4.
So don't they look old though? I mean, I know you went to see them, and I know they're the Stones.
What's
and who
amazing
doesn't
is
love
he's
the
78
Stones?
years old. I mean, I've seen him every time they've been here. He's 78 years old. He had heart surgery.
Yeah.
One of the Charlie may rest in peace is
Charlie
not there.
Watts.
Yeah, Charlie
And
Watts.
he's
Well,
78
I didn't think may he rest in peace being his last name. But that's how they start the concert. You know that.
Right.
There's just this drum riff, you know, and all his pictures. And then he dedicates the whole show. Bill Burr, Dina does all the styling on AGT and Deal or No Deal. He loves this jacket. I want to give him or gift him one. But what is this? It's Kill City.
Oh, yeah, we've had that a second.
I should have said I liked the duplex. He would have gifted me that.
But are there more of these?
I will look for something similar.
Do I have a black jacket in there I can give him?
I can look.
Go look and see if there's a jacket I can
Something
give him.
similar. I'm going to get his purple sweater.
No.
You like the shoes? They're really nice shoes.
No, but I'm gonna go get. I don't have a lot of parting
It's okay.
gifts.
I don't. I'm just.
No, I want you to have a
I'm thrilled
jacket.
that I'm on this show and that you like my comedy, dude. I can't tell you what
I
that
love
means
your
to you.
comedy.
No,
You're
not
one
only
of
do I
my
like your comedy,
favorites.
but you really are. I think you are. He used the word bold. I think you're funny. I think you're incredibly intelligent and smart. I think you're incredibly diverse in your interests as far as just. You speak. You're the most relatable, authentic guy, and it's not a secret why you are as big and successful. You're yawning in the middle of my.
It's getting uncomfortable.
He's not
I love him
emotionally
complimenting.
equipped for total
I don't know if you
acceptance.
can hear it, but he was yawning right in the middle. And yet you're relaxed. No matter what somebody says, you're the most relaxed guy. He's almost falling asleep in the middle of a compliment. But this has been a great honor for me, and it's a great honor. I love
dude,
you, buddy.
Your specials, dude. You fucking. What I liked about you is you Boston killed. Because I found when I started out in Boston, like the idea of killing was because of Gavin Sweeney, Kevin Knox, rest his soul, Santarelli, all of those guys, Rogerson, all of those guys at Knicks. When those guys were on stage, man, it sounded like a jet plane was landing. And I remember,
did that
I
too.
remember when I started doing the road and people were going like, I killed. I remember thinking like, dude, you didn't kill. You had a good set. That's not killing. What I saw at Knicks was killing. When I remember when
Is that where you started at Knicks?
Yeah, when I saw you when you did the one in the round, which I got to play that place out on Long Island.
Yeah, Westbury.
Yeah, I was so excited to be there. And I remember like you.
But I actually did it at Valley Forge. The special was at Valley Forge.
Oh, okay.
Where the jackets, Dina?
When he first
We're wrapping up. I want to give him a jacket to.
He literally made people piss their
Oh, that's not.
He
Is that?
literally
Do
made
you like
people
that
piss
one?
their
Do
pants.
you like that one?
No,
No.
No.
that's all right. It's all right. I don't need. That's cool. I can't deal with the red.
What's red?
Because it looks like a vagina you're unzipping on the pockets.
Now he's not gonna. My dad's not gonna wear it.
Wait, a vagina?
I'm joking. I'll look at it. I don't need a jacket. I'm happy. I'm good.
Just
I'm
give
good.
him your jacket, Dad.
No,
Give him your
trying to
jacket. Give
tell
him
You want
that.
my pants?
I don't.
that you literally made. I've seen you literally make people piss their pants on stage, and this is a small little club to talk about.
Yeah, dude. You always
killer.
have like, and then you always had those great improvs.
Yeah.
Your suspenders came off. What the fuck just
that
happened?
is the part.
Oh, that woman in the front row not wearing any undergarments.
Yeah.
You're
That's the
smiling
part.
at me, but not with your mouth or whatever.
Oh, you remember all that?
Dude, I remember all your specials.
Oh, wow. But I'm a
Yeah.
bigger fan of yours. I really love you. I think
I don't
that
hear
you
quoting
are.
my jokes.
But you know,
right.
the one way you get a comic not to believe anything you say is tell him how funny he is. Once you tell them how funny he is, they no longer believe a fucking word you say after
I want to
that.
know where you got that dust on your cowboy boots.
You
a
know,
real
I haven't
cowboy?
put the last time I put these on, I was wearing this sweater. So
Yeah, those
been
things need to
taken.
Why
shine.
would you wear a cashmere sweater and cowboy boots?
I'm
Doesn't
hip
that?
and cool.
No, but
I
that
think
doesn't.
he actually he has style. I think he looks good.
I wear clothes like it's going out of style.
And on that note,
And on that note,
you-
Lou, so nice to meet
Very
you.
nice to meet you, Mr.
Bill Burr.
Thank you.
So we're gonna look F for fam. Is that music playing?
F for
Okay.
family.
Bagpipes. Are you going to play me out like an
Bagpipes?
Irishman?
Do you have bagpipe music?
No, but
No,
are you
please
trying to
don't
do a
do that.
prank call or?
Was I trying to do a prank call?
Yeah.
I was saying goodbye.
I'm just I'm wondering, are we not doing one?
I don't think we want to do a prank call. Do you want to do a prank call? Is that what?
I don't want to do that to people.
I don't like. I love pranks.
Because you're in
I'm
on
lying
the,
to you.
You're in on the joke. They don't know.
Isn't that funny?
You don't want
know
to
my
keep being
favorite one?
turned down.
What?
My favorite prank call of all time
Is?
There's two of them. The Super Across the Way, the Jerky Boys.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
He
But
just
might
calls
take
up.
My glasses
Yeah,
so
this
I'll
is the
have
Super Across the Way. Let me speak to Brett Ware. Who's calling? Is he in? Yeah, who's calling? Get Brett Ware, I said. The guy's like, hang on. And he ends up just yelling at this guy.
Oh, the
Take
Jerky
my
Boys were
glasses
just
so I'll
screaming.
Like,
have
no,
them.
but like, his only credential is this is the Super Across the Way. That's how he identified himself, and that was all the authority the guy needed on the other end of
So
the
why
line.
don't you like pranks?
Because most of them aren't at that level. You know, there was that one, and then the guy who
You never did prank calls?
VCR repair is the other one.
I don't know that one.
Oh, oh my god, I gotta send that one to you.
Well, we can. Is it the Jerky Boys?
No, it's I don't know if it's them. Some people say it's them. I'm not sure.
Jim Florentine does funny.
Jim Florentine's great at them.
He is great. He does funny, and they're usually incoming calls that he just.
I asked him about that. So what he did was he just signed up for a bunch of stuff, and then all these telemarketers would
Right.
call him up, and then he would. Yeah, that was the thing, torturing telemarketers or something like
Yeah.
that. His gift is like that guy. I've never heard him break character.
He doesn't
No matter
break character.
How crazy it gets. Like I'll be like crying, laughing, going, "How is he even getting it out?" And he's just sitting there like, "Oh, really? What else? What else am I got?" You know,
You're
does
a
like
good impressionist.
does that thing.
That's
I'm
him.
doing Verzi's version of you know, you can do an impression of somebody else's impression. My buddy Paul Verzi does a great Florentine.
Do your German again.
That wasn't German. That was
German.
Finland.
I know. I love his German accent. It's a higher tone, and it's just.
It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
That's what he said.
Why would you wear a scarf with a sweater? Are you trying to lose weight? Are you a fighter?
I
You have abs? Can
my
I?
I love everybody.
Here's my.
You know what we
German
should do?
saying.
Like when nobody recognizes us, we should all just go into like an In-N-Out burger, and for no reason, with mustache and
But everybody that goes in should just talk like this, have the same voice, and be in line. They don't even know where to go. I would like the animal. I'd like it animal style. And okay, I'm number
24. Then the next guy
Double
pulls up.
double with the animal style. I know you make it. Don't lie to me.
We know what we're doing. We're doing Hans and Franz.
You're right.
Hans and
But then I'll
Franz.
go
It's
in
been
and
done.
say, "Oh, I like the animal style because I can't do a German accent.
It's not that
That was
good. That was
horrible.
good.
No.
No,
That was good. Do it
in my
again.
ac-
Do it again.
in my-
Try. Do a German
Here,
accent.
I can do my German accent saying, "I know what it is." I know what it is.
That's not a
That's
German
not.
accent.
No, I call it German.
Oh, you're calling it a German
That's
accent.
right. And here's my British accent saying, "Go to bed, Bob." Go to bed, Bob.
Those aren't accents.
No, they're not. Here's my Italian accent.
Oh God, gonna go around the world.
Sorry, Bill. I want to apologize.
The old bit is you keep doing that, and then one of them you just do perfectly, and then the crowd would clap. Still wouldn't laugh. They would
English.
just clap.
We had I've talked about him before, but we both started out at Yuck Yucks in Toronto, and there was an impressionist there who was not trying. I'm not going to say his name because I think it's mean, but he had a speech impediment. But he didn't lean into that.
No.
And it was horribly funny, but
For the
he did
wrong reasons?
all the wrong reasons.
Oh, yeah.
So that was really
He
tough.
had a lisp, I think, on top of that.
That's
to
a
say
speech
this.
impediment.
Well, no, I think
Oh,
he
yeah.
had a something wrong with his lip.
A hair lip,
Yeah.
which gave him a speech impediment.
I'm not a fucking doctor, Howie. But
Well,
in
I wasn't
addition-
asking you the reason.
In addition
I'm trying to
that-
wrap up the show.
And he was a beautiful man.
The
Bill Burr-
epilogue is what his special should be called.
The epilogue?
Like
The endearing epilogue.
how the episode is over, and then there's.
Oh
just
wait,
that.
do you have another
She
one?
has another
Oh, look at this!
jacket.
Look at this.
That's a good one.
Done, brand new, never been worn.
Never been
Oh,
worn.
that's beautiful.
You want that?
There you
It's
go.
got
Yeah,
a
that's
tag on
great.
it.
Yeah.
You want that?
Sure.
Give it to him.
Sounds great.
There you
Thank
go.
you. I love it. Thank you so
Put
much.
it on.
Huh?
Put it on, Bill. See how
No,
it looks.
I'm not going to put it on.
No,
I'm
it's
just
to
gonna-
go.
I'm just going to
It's
relax.
to go.
To go.
I'm gonna
That's
relax.
and people love coming on this podcast because
I just love the flow.
was there one?
F is
We
for family.
started the human dam over here. Just keeps
F is for family. I binge watch, and if you can binge watch every season up until the new season.
It comes from like the back of his nose. That's where his voice comes from.
It does come from the back.
F is for family. I binge watch. I have to get the tone though. What is it that you do? What is it that
What do you do?
What do you do? What is it that you do?
I love F is for family.
You've said that. All right.
He said when I sat down. I can't, and when you said that, how good I felt.
I don't know.
Versus like an hour and a half later when you're still saying it.
Sticks and stones.
He's making me
may
wish
break my
that
bones,
I never did the show.
But names will.
That's
never
what we
hurt.
do here. That's why the opposite of Ed McMahon.
You know,
I'm sorry.
I did a set, and I did. I said I want to be one of these guys. I did this joke last time on your show. One of these guys that goes through life, whoopity doopity hoopity doopity doo, and there were 7 people in the audience, and I went hoopity doopity doo hoopity doo. I did it for literally 3 minutes. They didn't laugh throughout any of the set, let alone hoopity doopity doopity doo. And then I said, of course, the punchline, which is, but I don't have it in me. I wanted to be one of these guys. And they just stared at me like, what the fuck is going on?
Like we're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm used to this, is my point.
So So your job is to just sort of annoy them.
Annoy everybody.
Now, why do you think that is?
I annoy people one at a time. Individually.
Why did you just look off like you're gonna make it to the top? I feel like
I love watching you do this. I'm trying to figure you out.
I know.
All right.
Just think about it.
What is weird about you is you're way in there, but you're also right at the surface. I almost know who you are, but I can't figure it out.
You're never gonna fucking know, Bill.
Nah, I can figure you out. You give me a weekend in a comedy condo, I'd have this guy down.
You want to move in with Lou?
I don't mind Lou. It's just a comedy condo.
Anyway, thank you for coming.
Dude,
Enjoy.
I got a jacket out of it? It's
Yeah, that's what
amazing.
we do.
Oh, you know what? There's a little thread here. Is there another? Anyway, I can
Dina!
get another one? Can I get another one? No, there isn't. I'm kidding.
Anyway, you're the best. I love you, buddy. If you ever need anything from me, I would show up in a
I'll
heartbeat.
send it to my assistant.
Give Nia a hug. Say hi to the kids. I don't know the kids, but I know Nia. Say hi to Ben.
I am going to. I'll definitely say hello. And Nia says hello to you, which I didn't talk to Ben before I came over. I'm sure he says
Ask
hello.
her if she remembers
The Hill
Jack.
family loves you.
I love them.
Yes.
He gave me my first special ever. Do you know that? Ben gave me my first special on
Dude,
Cinemax.
Ben is a legend.
Yeah.
Ben also worked at Atlantic Records.
I didn't know that.
You're one of the first African-American employees at Atlantic Records. And he told me, when I told him I was into AC/DC, he goes, oh, yeah. He goes, I had to hang with those guys one time. And he told me a story back. This is when Bon Scott was in the band.
He was a lawyer before that, right? He's a lawyer.
Yeah, super smart guy. But he was on a boat. You know, the label decided to take AC/DC around, like, you know, those boats that go around Manhattan.
Okay.
And the boat died, and they were on the boat, and they were just drinking or whatever. And he was just, you were hanging out with AC/DC? And he was just like, yeah. I mean, that's just right. But he was more like he went on the road with Parliament, Funkadelic, and then like he's lived like 4 or 5 different books.
Yeah, he really has.
Yeah,
he really has.
And
You
then he got
remember
into
him, right?
managing and all of that. Yeah,
Benny.
I called him Benny.
Yeah, he called him. She called him Benny. She was like 4 or 5. I think that's how old Nia was when they came over. 5 or 6. How old is Nia? She's 37.
Yeah, I always forget that number.
Okay, she forgets her own number too.
I
No, you don't
know how
forget,
old
but
I
that you don't
I'm
want to say it
smart
on
enough
the
as a husband to not put my wife's age out there.
Your wife doesn't listen to my podcast.
You know what? But she would if I said it. She would just so happen that she was like, I can't believe you did that.
Anyway, you're the best. Bill Burr,
All right,
ladies and
thank you.
gentlemen, thank you for being here.
All right, guys.
Bye.
All right, bye-bye.
That was fun. Yeah. All right. Let's take a picture. What? I wasn't sure if I had to put